Hey everybody, sorry to interrupt the video. I have huge news. We're posting it now. It's looking final-ish. We still have to get some permits from the county. We didn't realize we had to get. We're a farm. We don't get it, but we got to get these permits. Anyways, we are having the first ever Bales Hay Farm music festival concert. We're calling it South of 85. Just so it doesn't get confused with the farm and stuff. So the main highway that goes next to us is 85. South of 85 at Bales Hay. Chancey Williams is the main guy playing. There's also Jacob Hyde, Harry Luge Band, Sunset Red Band rather, Billy Shaw Jr. Band. Gosh, I should know this stuff. Anyways, October 14th, there's a kid zone, there's a dance floor, there's food trucks, there's adult beverages, there's lawn games for adults to play, for kids to play. It's gonna be a little bit of everything for everyone. Please come, put it in your calendars. Go to the website www.baleshay.com to buy tickets. Adults, and there's youth and adult prices. Please go online, check it out, put in your calendars. Would love to see you there. We're making hay. All right, it's Sunday. Last night I started the the project. I'll show you what I'm dealing with. So here's the pressure tank. Well, here's water comes from the well. It goes straight to the storage tank. This booster pump then pulls out of the tank underground and comes up right here. This line, it goes to the office and all the feed pens. I broke this trying to work it the other day. This one, I have no clue where it goes. My grandpa doesn't know, my dad doesn't know, nobody knows. So I want to dig all this up and see which way that goes. This might get changed, this might not, I don't know. I'd like to change that, but it still works. You just got to use pliers, not a big deal. I dug down to kind of get an idea. This way, and it goes south. The office is north, the feed pens are east, just to give you reference. And then there's a house right here to the southwest. So comes out, heads south, and you can see it's not a straight line. And then it hits this point right here, this T, and it has a gnarly, a lot of pressure, side pressure. Hits a T, goes to a valve. That valve doesn't work. Hits a 90, hits another 90, and goes that way. But I think it also goes back north to the office. I think that goes to feedlot pens and the office, but I don't know. That's going to get fixed. Then after this T, it goes to a second T and goes that way. That valve doesn't work. Then as soon as it hits that T, it 90s and comes up, and then it actually goes from, I think, 2 inch to 1.5 inches. I haven't looked. That way to another valve. That's the valve that's spraying water. And then it directly out of there to a 90, to another 90, and then straight on. So we are going to, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen, just because I don't know what I'm going to find as we go. But I would like to put all these valves right next to the tank, and then have someone build a shade over everything, over the pressure tank, because on top of the pressure tank is the compressor. I'd like to have the booster pump in under the shade, and all these valves, so then I can easily insulate them. They'll freeze every couple years, not that often, but it still could happen. But man, it's just a mess, and you can see that the torque and the angles on them, like that's not very good. So we're gonna get rid of all that today, and hopefully have a nice, better, whatever. And be nice to kind of understand where all these pipes go, because that green one. Then out the front of the tank, there's a pipe that goes down here, but it doesn't have a valve on it, so no one knows nobody knows where this goes. That rhymes. So anyways, Drew's on his way here. Drew's good in a backhoe. He's the best in the backhoe out of everyone here, but he's not here yet. I want to get started. It's only 63 degrees, so I'd like to do this meow. Okay, so progress is good. All that's cut out. It's all cleaned, and we'll primer all this up, primer. And what we're gonna do is, I told Brian to make this decision. I didn't want to make the decision of how far we did things. So I said, Brian, you're the oldest and the wisest, make the decision. He said, start at the tank, let's make it nice. So that's what we're gonna do. Hey, he just said I'm full of cow poop, and I'm not. So we're gonna come off here with the valve, so we can isolate the tank from everything else if we have to. Then we're gonna tee off, go to that booster pump, keep coming, tee off and go down. One long line for the house. Then we're gonna keep going, tee off, one long line for the pins, and then another tee for the office, and then another tee for the pins. The pins, because they're in 3 long lines, one pipe shuts all the lines off shuts all of one section of the pins off. Another line shuts the section off to a third. That's why I've got all the valves, so we can isolate a section of pins at a time and not shut everyone's water off at one time. Especially if there's a fairly large problem, we can turn the water off for a day or two, and everything else still has water. So that's what we're doing. Now's the measure. I'm really bad at measuring once and having to cut like 3 or 4 times. So I'm gonna be sure to measure 3 or 4 times and only cut once. Oh man, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is, the bad news first, I lost 2 bad news. The memory card apparently was full, and we were in the middle of stuff, so I didn't swap it out because I didn't want to stop helping guys. The other bad news is, I accidentally grabbed like low schedule pipe, and so it was super thin for one little 6-foot section. So I'm headed to get some schedule 40, some thicker stuff. And also we accidentally grabbed couplers for the 1.25 inches, but we needed the couplers for the 1.5 inches. So I got to get 3 1.5-inch couplers. Oh, there's a red racer in the road. Hardly ever see those. So 3 1.5-inch couplers, 1 stick of 1.25 inch pipe, and we'll be done. And we get to pressure test. Oh, not excited about that. Anyway, so we'll get back and you get to see that. Got the easy up. That was the best idea. This sun is brutal. Okay, this is for over here. Whoa, looks like we know what we're doing, huh guys? Nice. What do you think of that? Yo, there we go. It's all we were missing for this last run, and a couple feet of that. What do you guys think? Think it's gonna work? Do you guys think it, when we put pressure on it?
That's good to go.
We're gonna put money on it?
100%.
Brian just asked the question, how long do we sit before we turn it on? It's hot. It's like 103 or 5. Yeah. Oh, you guys see that? He dropped it and he didn't even catch it.
I don't know, this stuff needs a couple hours. Probably an hour.
It's been an hour since you last saw us. You guys don't know that. It feels like a split second, but guess, oh man, we went and got Subway. All right, let's just turn the, we're just gonna start with gravity. The pressure of the water that's in the storage tank, we're just gonna open her on up. Everything is open. Let Mark do the, I heard it, but there's no pressure, so if anything leaks, it's not going to leak now. While we're letting it fill up, so our booster pump, it went underground, which we're going to build a brace to hold this up later, but we thought we don't have to do all that. And I really leaned on Brian quite a bit and asked Brian, do we wipe it out and make it all nice and new? And he kind of said, we're here, we've got the manpower, we've got the backhoe, we've already got it all dug up, we might as well do it. So we eliminated all this weirdness going on here. We did put a valve on here, so if we ever had to work on anything between here and that booster pump, we can shut it off. And we're hauling hay. 2, we put a valve right here. There was not a valve before. There was just 2 valves going to the pins. So this valve was closer to here, and then these 3 were over there. So now we've got the houses have a valve, the office, the pins in the middle section have a valve, the office has its valve, and the far east pins have their own valve. They're all right here at the tank, and we're gonna build a cool metal barn over everything here. We'll get this in the shade, we'll get this in the shade. All of this will be in the shade, insulated. And on the wall of the barn, because that's our front entrance to the farm right there, that front entrance as you come in, I'll have a big sign on it. So it's gonna look really nice. So we've got the well off, and it knows to come on when that big black tank gets low. Well, on. So I still have the booster pump off, and the air compressor off, these aren't pressurized yet, but there's no dripping water, which if there was dripping water and this wasn't pressurized, I would cry. Like, that would mean we're that bad at our jobs, but there isn't. Okay. I don't like the way that looks, but it's just how it had to be. Oh, I heard it click. There it goes. Holy smokes. Well, folks, nothing's dripping yet. All right, he's gonna hit the compressor so that we don't waterlog this tank. I hope we didn't mess up by doing that first. So the compressor's going, we're up to 60 PSI, and there's no leaks. This might be the first time I have ever done a project without a leak. I'm about as proud as I was delivering my own child right now. I might cry. I feel pretty good.